My name's Kurt Mullen, and I live in Newburyport, Massachusetts, and I'm a writer and a teacher, and I have a podcast, and now I'm a storyteller.
Can you tell me a little bit about the first time that you shared a story on stage live?
You know, the abominable snowman, in the cartoons, he would love something so much that he'd smother it to death. That's what I was doing to my script, because I wanted to do so well that I wanted to memorize 6 minutes of text, which, as you know, it leads you to be really stiff.
And what would you say was your biggest takeaway from that first time out?
The storytelling community is so kind. Even on a night like that, people were just you got to come back, you got to tell more stories. And it's beautiful.
I'm just interested to hear, why are you so eager to tell this specific story tonight?
Well, it's a story that just meant so much to me. It was a huge mystery as a young person, and it was a bubble that I was lucky enough to finally pop as an adult. And so it was a watershed moment in my life.
Why do you feel that telling stories about family is important?
Well, first of all, it's something that we all live with. It's completely relatable, and it's something we all walk around thinking about for a long time. And, relationships aren't easy. And I think that familial relationships in particular, call on a certain kind of patience. And it's kind of like a muscle that you have to exercise. So I think thinking and telling stories related to that is part of the exercise. I have this little scrap of paper, and it's making me nervous. This little scrap of paper, it has a name and a number on it. And it's making me nervous because the name is Jack, and that's the name of my father, and we have never talked before. I have just one memory of Jack, in fact. I'm 3. I'm in the house in Burlington, Massachusetts, where I grew up, in the living room with my brother, who's 7. The TV's on. My brother sees something out the window, and he's calling back to my mother. It's Jack. And I don't really know who Jack is. I just know that he matters a lot. The way my mother bombs into the living room, my mother, who's so normally friendly and peaceful and calm and welcoming, she goes to the front door, but this time for this guy, she's not gonna take the chain off. And I'm standing there looking up at her face, it's so nervous, and I can see him through the crack in the door. And there are some words, and it's really fast, and when the door goes shut, it gets bolted. And my mother's saying, get up to your rooms, both of you. And it's terrifying to see my mother made to feel this way. But when I get up to my room and I'm looking out the window, I can't get enough of watching this guy going out to his car, because my brother's telling me, that's Jack, that's our father. Well, now I'm 28 and I've managed to get Jack's phone number on this little scrap of paper. In fact, lately we've been actually trading messages, just missing each other. But tonight he's home. When I call him, hello? Geez, 25 years, what do you say? Jack, it's Kurt. Hey, big guy. How are things? Well, I work 2 jobs a day. I'm never late, I'm never sick. And when I get home, I'm a great sports fan. I like to put on Sports Center, and I like my ice cream. I usually finish the pint. And in the mornings, I get up, though, and I go right into the garage, and I pump iron. And I got a big picture of Arnold on the wall. Arnold, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So the call goes well, and there are others, and I've got to see this guy. I got to go see him. But I got to get right with my mother. And so I call her and I tell her, what's up? You're going to go see Jack? Are you going to stay with him? No, Mom, I'm going to stay at a friend's place when I'm down there. Does he still own a gun? He always did when I knew him. Well, I don't want my mom to be worried, but I don't know what to say. It's late October in South Florida. It's hot and sticky, and I'm in a rental car in front of this little stucco house, and I'm waiting for him to come back from work. When he pulls up in his red pickup truck and parks right in front of me, and I'm right there at the driver's door when it comes open, And he's a big guy. And he comes flopping out, like kind of wriggling out. And he's been cutting fish at Public Supermarket all day. And he doesn't smell so great. And me, I'm a sweater. So when we just shake hands and don't hug, that's probably for the best. But somehow I get a little disappointed that he doesn't look me in the eye like I want him to. But it's a nervous moment, and neither of us can stop moving. Follow me, I'll show you the house. Well, I do, and I notice he has a pretty good limp on the left side. And we go into the house, and immediately we're in a living room. And the shades are drawn, and the air is really stuffy. And the birds are really loud. And there's a dog. It's not present, it's like behind a door, but it's so loud, and with the bird noise, it's already really hard to think. Make yourself at home. I'm gonna go change. Well, he's told me about his bird children. There's about 26 of them. But I hadn't really thought about it as strange. And I hadn't imagined all the cages clustered together like this. And it's creepy. And the dog it's in an office or a spare bedroom, but it's not just barking like a machine gun, it's like ramming the door. And I'm nervous. And there's, on all the furniture all around me, it's dust and bird dander. It's just covered with it. And I would never take a seat in this place. And Jack comes in, and he has no shirt on. He's just wearing his pants and a hat. And it's not a baseball hat. It's like one of these broad-brimmed hats the state troopers wear. And he wants to know what I do for exercise. Do you lift weights? And then he disappears. And then that's when the birds are really seeming loud to me, when he doesn't acknowledge them, and the dog is knocking against the door, and it's freaking me out. Jack, your dog's freaking me out. Hey, it's all right, it's all right. It's a Rottweiler. She's just a love. She's my baby. You gotta meet her. Sybil? Sybil? Who names their dog Sybil? Well, I don't know, but I don't know my father, but I do know that when he limps on by me, he's going to go right to her door and get his dog daughter Sybil out of the room to introduce her to his long-lost son, Kurt. We're going to have a family reunion. Except I don't walk, I run out of there, and I slam the door behind me. A few minutes later, he comes out all dressed. He's got a white button-down shirt tucked into his black Dickies. He's got that hat on, a badge, and we're off. You like barbecue? Yeah, Jack, I do like barbecue. There's a place that's not that far. We take separate cars because, well, there's just too much junk in the passenger side of his truck. And then we're in a booth in a barbecue place. And do I have some questions for him? Sure. But tonight we only have 45 minutes. So when he starts talking about the football game he won at Reading High School back in the 50s, when he starts talking about how much my mother really loved to ice skate, I'm all ears. And to tell you the truth, the resemblance I'm getting, it draws me in. So when he's talking about summers at Wingershik Beach in Gloucester, I'm looking at his hands and I'm saying, oh, that's why my hands look that way. And when he gets up, it's because it's time to go to work. And when we shake hands, he looks at me. This time he does. And then he drops some cash on the table. What's this? I got dinner. It's the least I could do after all these years. And he lumbers out. I'm going to be around a few more nights. We both know that. I sit back and I ask for the check and I pick up the cash and I count it. I can't wait to tell my mother. The least he could do after all these years. It's not quite enough to cover the bill. Thank you.